Why, hello there, everyone, and welcome to this very special Q&A session that we have set up for you with Mark Coker. He is the founder of Smashwords, and for those of you that don't know, Smashwords, and we'll talk more about this, of course, but essentially, Smashwords will help and can help and has helped many thousands of authors get their ebooks into the marketplace, and in many marketplaces. That's kind of the beauty of Smashwords. It's not just Amazon, or it's not just the iBook store. It's many different places, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so pleased that Mark is here for us and willing to answer questions. And with that, I'm going to pass the virtual microphone over to my my partner in crime here, Amy Collins. And Amy is basically going to kind of take the lead on asking the first sort of bunch of questions. And with that, Amy, I really appreciate you kind of taking the lead with this. The floor is yours.
Thank you. We have received we're into triple digits now, well over 100 questions about Smashwords in our Facebook group and in my email inbox. And after a while, I got tired of checking on the Smashwords website and then coming back and answering. And we decided that we were going to invite Mark Coker, who is the founder and president of Smashwords, to come on and to answer your questions. A lot of you have been asking me the same few questions in different ways, so I would like to, again, as Daniel did, I would like to thank Mark for giving us the time right now. Mark, it's very nice of you to spend this time with us this afternoon. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to start by asking, if I can just start by asking how Smashwords is doing today. How are things going at Smashwords? How is your author community going? I'd like to start just in general and asking, how is business and how is life over there in the Smashwords headquarters?
Well, hi, Amy and Daniel. It's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me to speak with you all today. Just as background, I founded Smashwords almost 10 years ago, and I created the business so that we could really change the way writers are able to write and publish. We wanted to democratize publishing so that any writer anywhere in the world could self-publish an ebook. And that was a pretty radical idea 10 years ago. In the years since, we have been fortunate, thanks to the amazing support of our community. Smashwords is now the world's largest distributor of self-published ebooks. So I'm really thrilled with everything that we've done over the last few years, and I'm excited about what the future holds for our authors as well. We are the largest community of self-published ebook authors out there. We're working with over 100,000 authors and small independent presses around the world to publish and distribute over 400,000 ebooks. We're also very interested in the library market. We've been working for the last 5 years to open up the major library aggregators to the books of self-published authors, much in the same way we've worked with retailers to open up their stores to self-published ebook authors. And I'm pleased to report that we've made tremendous progress there. We're now working with the largest library ebook checkout platforms, and look forward to adding more in the years to come.
Wonderful. Now, we know about and have heard about the work that Overdrive and Baker & Taylor through Access 360 has been doing with the library market. Is there any other library company that you would add to that list of library suppliers of the ebook market?
Yes, definitely. So Overdrive is the 800-pound gorilla, and as many authors now know, Overdrive was acquired by Rakuten, the parent company of Kobo. So we've been working with Overdrive for about 3 years now. Last year we signed a new deal with Gardeners in the UK. They operate 2 library ebook platforms in the UK. They reach about 50% of the library market in the UK. So we're really excited to be working with them. We also added a distribution agreement with Odeo. They reach about 2,100 libraries in North America, South America, and Europe. And then just recently, in the last few weeks, we announced a deal with Biblioteca Cloud Library.
Really? The 3M
yes.
people?
Yes, the 3M people.
Oh, they're so hard to get into. That's wonderful.
Yeah, so you know, they serve over 3,000 public libraries in the U.S., Canada, U.K., and Australia. So we've begun the initial integration efforts, and those are going well. We've been shipping to them now for a couple weeks, and hopefully in the next couple months they'll have our entire catalog integrated into their system.
Terrific. Now, for those of you who are listening to this on a replay, there's over 1,000 of you in our student group just for libraries alone. And so I just want to state, as you've seen in a lot of our coursework and in a lot of the Facebook interaction that's going on, Mark just named every major company, every ebook wholesaler that I've been telling you need to be in, and then he named a couple that I'd never even heard of. So I just want you guys to remember, I want you to take a moment and think about the classwork that we've done and the interaction we've had in the Facebook group. And Mark mentioned every single ebook wholesaler that we've been talking about. And Mark, the way I understand it is you do not charge upfront fees. There's no huge setup fees for Smashwords. The way it works is pretty simple. If Baker & Taylor / Access 360 needs a certain percentage off of the retail price of an ebook, let's say it's 30%, you pass that through to them. But you also take, and it's a pretty small percentage, but you take 10% of the retail price of an ebook for your work, for your management of the entire process. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes. So there's no cost to work with Smashwords. You can visit smashwords.com and sign up for a free account. Everything's free. We don't sell anything at Smashwords. We also don't employ salespeople. We don't offer publishing packages or marketing packages. We're focused exclusively on helping our authors and publishers get their ebooks published and distributed. And we, as you mentioned, we only earn money if the book sells, and then we take a small commission. So yeah, so with the libraries, you know, here's how the process works. You sign up for an account at Smashwords. The confirmation email that we send you walks you through all the step-by-step steps necessary to publish and distribute with Smashwords. You upload your book to Smashwords. Literally within 5 minutes, your book is listed for sale on the Smashwords homepage. And then the book goes into a queue, and we review it here in Los Gatos, California, to make sure that the book meets the distribution requirements of our retailers and our library partners. And assuming that you followed the style guide and formatted the book professionally, it will meet those requirements, and we start shipping that book out to all of our retailers and all of our library partners. So it's pretty straightforward. Authors earn 45% of the list price for all of their library ebook sales through Smashwords. So it's a pretty good percentage. Obviously, it's less than what you earn through retailers, but it's still a pretty good deal.
All right. And Mark, am I correct in, I may not understand this properly, but my understanding is that you can set a retail price for your ebook that will be going to Amazon.com and Kobo and to the resale sites, and a second price for the library wholesalers. Do I have that correct?
You have that 100% correct. Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we believe in giving our authors and publishers as much control as possible over their publishing and distribution. We know a lot of our authors want to offer books to libraries at lower than the ordinary retail price because our authors want to support libraries. But we've got other authors and publishers that feel like, when they're selling a library ebook, it should be priced more than retail. So we allow both of those options. You're in total control. So we will automatically default your library price to your retail price, but then we give you the ability to set a custom price for the libraries.
All right. And for those of you, again, who are listening to a replay, if you're part of our library group, you have heard me say more than once that selling your book into the libraries means that you can set your ebook price higher than the retail price because they're going to be buying the ebook and re-loaning it out over and over and over again. And you've also heard me talk about licensing. So Mark, I'm going to give you a little heads up. In a moment, I'm going to ask you about why Smashwords does not support licensing. It may have nothing to do with Smashwords. It may be something that Overdrive and Access has decided against. But we have some of our students are in Overdrive and Access 360 directly. And Overdrive and Access 360 gives them the opportunity to license their book for either 26 weeks, a certain amount of time, or for a certain number of checkouts. And I know that through Smashwords, that option, I believe that Smashwords is not available to them. Just wanted to make sure I was right about that and make sure that I had asked that for some of the students who wanted the licensing option. That's not an option so much through Smashwords, correct?
Right, Amy, you're correct. So that's not currently an option. It's not something that I would rule out entirely for the future, but what we've decided to do for the first round of our work with libraries is to really focus in on what we see as the dominant licensing form for libraries that can help make our authors' books more accessible to more readers. So that's the licensing model where the library purchases the ebook once and then they can check it out to one patron at a time.
Yes. And guys, as you've heard me say before, licensing is awesome and it's absolutely something we want to work towards. But until we as self-published or small press authors have earned our stripes, until we've proven to the library market that our books deserve the extra licensing dollars and the extra money and time that that's going to take, we have to start by selling. Licensing is a great goal, but it's not where you start. I know when I want to run a 5K, I don't my first day run 5K. I run for a couple of feet. That we have to earn our way onto those programs, and so Smashwords is a great place to start. Mark, I want to ask you about another kind of licensing. There are some companies out there, and a few of them are actually on your website, that will license content, mainly usually from nonfiction authors, but will license content for subscriptions. And I see that you participate in a couple of those programs. How are those going for you?
Oh, so are you talking about Scribd, for example?
Yes. Scribd is yes, absolutely one example.
Yeah, so we've been involved in ebook subscriptions for quite a while, almost since the beginning. Scribd and a company called Oyster were two of the early movers in ebook subscriptions, and their goal was to create basically the Netflix of ebook consumption. Scribd has been doing pretty well. Oyster went out of business last year, actually the year before, and were acquired. Their team and their assets were acquired by Google, and I don't think Google's doing anything with them now. So that leaves Scribd as probably the largest independent subscription service, and then there's also Amazon's Kindle Unlimited, which operates under a dramatically different model, and that's probably the largest ebook subscription service in the world, Kindle Unlimited. So we're distributing books. We're distributing books into Scribd, always have, but we're not distributing books into Amazon Kindle Unlimited.
And if I was to go to Smashwords and upload a copy, my book, and sign up with Smashwords, do I have the option to to not participate in Scribd or in subscription services if I'd like?
Oh yes, definitely. You can opt out of any channel that we distribute to. You can also proactively opt out of all new unannounced channels.
Wonderful. So wait, let me make sure. So if I go to Scribd, if I go to Smashwords, I can opt out of Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com?
Yes. Yes.
Guys, do you hear that? That is interesting. Okay.
Yeah. We don't recommend that authors do that. But obviously, if you're already distributing your book to Barnes & Noble or Apple or Kobo, either using another distributor or you're uploading your book directly to that retailer, you can certainly opt out of that channel from Smashwords, so we're not double distributing the book. You only want one copy of your book distributed to the retailers. Of our 400,000 plus books that we publish and distribute, we're only distributing about 300 of those titles to Amazon. So we recommend that all of our authors and publishers upload directly to Amazon, and then you can use Smashwords to reach all the other retailers and all the major library platforms.
Terrific. Well, that is fascinating. Mark, we have a number of questions coming through the pipeline, and I really want to thank you for answering my questions first, because being a control freak, I like that. I like to have total control. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give up a little control, and I'm going to start reading some questions that are being both emailed and thrown into our question box. So at this point, guys, as you type your questions in, please just type them in. If I don't understand what you're asking, I'm going to ask you to clarify. But we do have a great question. A woman named Donna has typed in. She lays out her books in InDesign, and what she'd like to do is upload a PDF to Smashwords. Is it possible to, and again, I know some of the answers to these, but I'd like you to tell the folks, when they go to Smashwords, can they upload a Word document? Can they upload a PDF, or do they have to be uploading a formal ebook file?
Okay. Well, Donna, thank you for that question. When you work with Smashwords, you're going to upload either a Microsoft Word document or a professionally designed EPUB file. So EPUB is the open industry standard for ebooks. It's the standard that every retailer other than Amazon uses, and it's the standard that all the library checkout platforms use. So we do not accept PDF uploads at Smashwords, and I doubt we ever will. Our focus is really reflowable ebooks. We're big believers in reflowability. Reflowability means that you can, the text, the narrative of your book can shapeshift across different screen sizes. Reflowability is what allows the reader to click a button and increase the font size. And if we were to be working with PDFs, readers wouldn't get that same reading experience. And it would also obviously limit the total availability of the book, since that's not the dominant format for ebook buying.
And why not a MOBI or a PRC file for the Kindle format? Why? How do you get books to Amazon if you're using EPUB?
So when you upload a Microsoft Word document to Smashwords, it goes into our conversion engine, and we actually output the book into multiple ebook formats. So we'll output it as an EPUB, as a PDF, as a MOBI file for Kindle, as a text file, and then some other lesser file formats. So for the books that we are uploading to Amazon, we are uploading the MOBI format for them typically.
All right. So if I have an EPUB file that I've had created by a designer and send it to you, does that mean my book can't be sent to Amazon? Do I also need to upload the Word file?
Yeah, you should also upload the Word file. And I should just make a special note about our distribution to Amazon. I mentioned that we're only distributing about 300 titles there. We only distribute to Amazon by special request, and only for authors who have established a strong sales track record at Smashwords.
All right. All right, that's fantastic. Donna has one follow-up question, and then Lena, I'm going to get to your questions. But Donna would like to know, it's a Word doc, no Mac pages. It has to be PC-based Word doc, correct?
Well, it can be a PC-based, it could be a Mac-based Word doc, it could be a document that you know, if she's using InDesign, she can export that file as an EPUB, and that should work with us.
Yep.
Sure. So
Good.
different options.
Good. Mark, we are a big fan here at the Real Fast area. We're a big fan of counseling our students to always, if they can, get their own ISBNs from whatever country they're in, whatever the official designated ISBN purveyor is. In the United States, it's Bowker. It's in Canada, it's actually the government. But we're big fans of telling people they should own their own ISBN. But not everybody wants to. I take it from your website that if people want an ISBN for their ebook, they can actually get one from you. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, you do. You did understand that correctly. We offer free ISBNs as a perk for using our distribution services. We acquire ISBNs in blocks of 50,000 and 100,000 at a time. So we get them for super cheap, which is how we're able to give them away for free. But in the end, you know, we're agnostic. If you would prefer to go to your local ISBN registrar and purchase your own ISBNs, you're welcome to do that. Or if you want to get them for free, you're welcome to do that. Just, you know, follow the best practices for ISBNs, namely, don't use the same ISBN for your ebook that you use for your print book.
Yes.
That's the most important thing.
Yes, and everyone, it is time. It is time in this industry. You need an ISBN for your ebook. The time is quickly coming when all ebooks and their sales and their downloads will be tracked, and everyone is very clear at this point that while ISBNs were not necessary up till now, very quickly the time is coming when ISBNs on ebooks are going to be very, very important. So just get ahead of the curve, get an ISBN on your ebook now. And as you've heard me say a million times, get your own if you can. I'm glad Smashwords is agnostic about it. I'm thrilled that they offer the service for people who can't get their own ISBN, but if you're in a position to, please do. All right. So Lena was asking if she is uploading an ebook to Smashwords, does she need, and she called it the special library code. And what she means is, Mark, we talk a lot about a catalog and publication block for books that go to libraries. Lena, that the decision to put a CIP block on the copyright page of your ebook is an individual choice. If it was a print book, you know me. You know I'd be telling you, you have to do it. Go get it. It's important. But as an ebook, it is less important because the librarians won't be flipping through the copyright page of an ebook the way they would a print book to see if all the coded data is there. There's a lot of benefits to a CIP block in an ebook, including the fact that you get properly listed in the American Library Association database, the WorldCat database. There's a lot of databases that a CIP block gets you into, but it's not as urgent. So forgive me, Mark, for jumping in. We have another question here. Okay. Camille would like to know why Smashwords has a Smashwords edition versus published by, and then published by with the author name at Smashwords statement on the copyright page. What is that all about? She'd like to know. Why is there a Smashwords edition on the copyright page? Okay, well, thank you for that question. It's completely optional if the author or publisher wants to label their book at Smashwords as a Smashwords edition on their title or copyright page. We recommend that, you know, at a minimum, the author, you know, put on their title page, you know, the title, written by author name, copyright, author name, and year, and then it's completely optional if they want to say, you know, published by author name at Smashwords, or distributed by Smashwords, or Smashwords edition. So that's been officially optional for about 4 years now. We think it's a good idea for authors who are uploading through Smashwords to identify that book as a Smashwords edition.
It certainly helps us when supporting our retailers and the retailers' customers. We'll often get inquiries from a retailer saying such and such book isn't working properly or isn't working for the customer, and we'll spend hours trying to fix that problem only to realize that the book wasn't delivered by Smashwords. So we do like to be the single throat to choke if there's a problem with a book, and so it's nice if the author or publisher mentions that, but it's certainly optional. It's up to the author or publisher. You know, I should.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I should, just reiterate that Smashwords is a distributor. We don't consider ourselves the publisher. We consider the author or the publisher the publisher. It's your book.
Yes.
We don't take your rights. You control all your rights, and you can remove your book from our service at any time.
And how long does that take if someone decides, if someone has been a Smashwords author for quite some time with all of the channels open and decides to remove themselves from, let's say they don't want to be in library wholesalers and they'd like to remove themselves. Is that a 30-day process, a 60-day process? How long does that take?
Today, it's a process that really takes, ranging from a couple hours to a few days for those books to be removed. If we go back to the early years of Smashwords 6, 7, 8 years ago, it was a completely different story. The retailers and the library partners weren't as fast at processing metadata updates and processing takedowns, but now it's quite quick.
Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. So Mike is asking, and I'd love to get your take on this, but I'd be happy to, because it's not so much a Smashwords question, but it is an Overdrive question. He would like to know if you or I have any idea how Overdrive finds out about books once they're loaded into Smashwords. How does Overdrive know that they have a particular book in their system? How do we, because we coach people that they need to go to the libraries and tell them that the book is available on Overdrive. So how does Overdrive know that the ebook is in their system? Is this something that, is there a database somewhere they can look at, or?
It's a great question, and it's the answer is it can be complicated. Basically, when you're distributing with Smashwords, we will notify you in your Smashwords Channel Manager, which is a screen from your dashboard, when your book has been distributed to Overdrive and the other library platforms. So you can assume that once your book has been distributed there, that book is now, in the process of being ingested by the library platform. It can take, I think every library platform is different, and they're all working to get faster and faster all the time, but I think it's safe to assume, it could take up to a couple weeks for the book to be ingested into their platform so that librarians, acquisitions managers, can go into the Overdrive marketplace and acquire the book.
Okay. So I'd like to repeat back what I heard, but the short version is, once you sign up with Smashwords, you should probably give it a couple weeks, perhaps even 30 days before you start reaching out to libraries, just to give everyone a chance to get all the data through the pipeline and into the correct databases. Did I hear that properly?
Yeah, I think that's a safe way to approach it. I should also add that although the library platforms are taking all of our books, I should talk about what they're not taking. So none of our library platforms are taking erotica books, for example. So those won't ship to the retailers if your book is categorized as erotica fiction. But they will receive it if it's categorized as like potentially erotic romance, which is we view different from erotic literature.
Yeah. All right. Other categories?
That's basically it. There are obviously certain categories of books that are not allowed at Smashwords, typically erotica books that feature underage characters. We have a zero tolerance policy for stuff like that. We require that the books distributed by Smashwords are the original creation of the author or that the publisher publishing at Smashwords has the exclusive rights to that book. So, basic common sense requirements.
Yes. All right. All right. Lena has come back and just asking for clarification. I just want to make, we're going to go back to the formatting question. Her understanding from our conversation is that uploading an EPUB gives it a limited distribution, but uploading an EPUB and a Word document, because the Word document allows you to format it into MOBI and into the different other formats that are needed for the platforms that don't use EPUB. Is that correct? Did we get that right?
Yeah, I think you've got it mostly right. I mean, if you're only uploading an EPUB, you'll still get to benefit from our distribution network to the major retailers and to the library platforms. The EPUB format accounts for, and I should say specifically our distribution network, accounts for about 95% of our authors and publishers' sales. And the other 5, 6, 7% of sales come from sales at the Smashwords store. So it's in the Smashwords store that it's useful to have those multiple formats, to have the EPUB format, but also the MOBI format, the PDF, and the other formats. And you get those other formats by uploading a Word document.
Well, Mark, please keep in mind that I am frustratingly slow. I am not as bright as I used to be, so forgive me for this because now I'm a little confused. I do know that Amazon, which is the largest ebook purveyor out there, at least the retailers, but that Amazon doesn't use EPUB. So how can EPUB be given to Amazon? Can you, if somebody only has an EPUB, can they still get onto Amazon through you?
That would be more difficult. So if they,
all right.
So yeah, certainly if they're using us to reach Amazon, and if we've authorized them to be distributed by us to Amazon, then they're going to want to upload a Word document.
Okay. All right, and not a MOBI. All right, so you guys, even if you have a MOBI file, that's not how it works. Great. You've been very clear.
Well, good. Good.
All right. Yeah. Donna is saying that she knows some people whose book is being made into a movie, and she wants to know, does Smashwords have any experience with some of your customers, your books, becoming huge hits, getting a movie deal, anything like that? Do you have any experience with authors who perhaps started out self-published but was able to move into a larger arena?
Well, certainly we have seen many of our authors have achieved international commercial success self-publishing ebooks with us, and then some of those authors have gone on to have their next projects acquired by the large publishers. So we've seen that with some of the very early indie author pioneers like Amanda Hawking, Jamie McGuire, authors that started off self-publishing and then went on to get traditional publishing deals. And many of these authors are still self-publishing. In fact, some of them are coming back to self-publishing. In terms of some of our authors getting movie deals, I'm sure it has happened. I know some of our authors have had movies optioned or had their books optioned for movies, but there's a big distance between getting your book optioned and actually having the movie go into production. But I think the best way to look at the self-publishing opportunity is that, especially ebook self-publishing, allows authors to get their books out there into the marketplace, globally distributed, accessible to millions of readers, and a chance to reach readers and grow your readership. To the extent that you can successfully grow your readership around the world, you're going to start maximizing the odds that your book is discovered or picked up by someone who might want to make it into a movie. Unfortunately, it happens to very few of us.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely, but I'm reading the questions as they come down, and that was an interesting one. I know that a number of people, they dream about that and they hope. But guys, as we've been saying in our classes all along, making your book available is just the first step. It's, we have to drive it from there. Mark, do you have any opinion or knowledge about the KDP Select on Amazon? We have two questions here about KDP Select, and I just didn't know if that was in your wheelhouse or not before I...
Yeah. So I've spent quite a bit of time talking about KDP Select, over the last 6 or so years since it launched. So it launched in December 2011. KDP Select is an opt-in option for self-publishing at Amazon. When you enroll your book in KDP Select, you're agreeing to make your book exclusive to Amazon for a period of at least 3 months. So that's 3 months that you can't be distributing your book on Smashwords, 3 months that you can't be selling your book on your own website. I am not a fan of KDP Select.
Neither am I.
I really believe that it's toxic. It's toxic to the future of book selling. It's toxic to the future of authorship. It's toxic to retailers, and it's toxic to libraries. Basically, what Amazon has done here is they've created a program that has allowed them to attract over 1 million books, predominantly self-published books, that can only be purchased at Amazon. This means that all the other major retailers don't have access to these books. It means the other major retailers are losing customers to Amazon because these books that readers want to read are only available at Amazon. The way I look at KDP Select is that every book that is enrolled in KDP Select is a vote to put all the other retailers out of business. And because it prohibits you from working with a distributor like Smashwords, it also keeps you out of the library market. And I don't know if that's intentional on Amazon's part or not, but it does have that result that those books aren't available to libraries, and that's sad.
Well, and that is true. Amazon will keep you in KDP Select if you provide only a MOBI file to a library wholesaler that sells ebooks to libraries. They're fine with, but that is so hard to manage. And my opinion of KDP Select, yes, it's all those things you said, Mark, but here's my biggest problem with it. It limits your potential sales, and the reasoning and what you get back in return is so not worth it. I mean, what is Amazon actually offering you in exchange for... What is Amazon offering you in exchange for those 90 days? It is not worth it, guys. It's just not.
Yeah, well, Amy, I would agree with you. But unfortunately, there are a lot of authors that don't know or don't know better. Every time I go to a writers' conference, I meet writers who ask me, doesn't Amazon require exclusivity? Many authors are trapped in exclusivity and don't even know that it's an option.
Yes.
Amazon has created the user experience, the user interface for KDP Select to make it look like your book setup is incomplete unless you agree to make your books exclusive there. So, do you want to make 70% royalty in Mexico and India and Brazil? Well, you need to enroll in KDP Select. They present it kind of as a no-brainer. If you want to sell more books, enroll in KDP Select. So they've created this caste system where books that are Amazon exclusive and books that are published by Amazon's own publishing imprints are given preferential merchandising in their store. And books from authors and publishers who believe in supporting the dynamic ecosystem of multiple retailers and sales opportunities, those authors and publishers are disadvantaged. Their books are essentially buried.
Yes, but they can be unburied, for those of you who are listening, very, very easily. If you choose, and if you're listening to Mark and I and you decide you don't want to go with KDP Select, yay you, and you're nervous that you will be losing out to that bump that Mark is talking about, or if you'll be buried, it is extremely easy to unbury yourself with a few small activities that include, having a few people actually buy your ebook, especially buying it with other bestsellers in your shopping cart. We're not going to get into strategies here. That's not what Mark is here for, and he has been very kind to give us his time. But for those of you who are listening and who are in KDP Select, I would ask you to seriously ask yourself what you're getting in return, because especially the library market, but there's Kobo in particular is the second largest ebook purveyor out there. I'm not talking about distributors like Smashwords, but actual purveyors. And especially overseas, anyone who wants any sort of overseas presence needs to be in Kobo. They're huge. They actually own Overdrive. So think about what you're giving up.
Amy,
Mark, it looks like we're getting,
Amy,
go ahead.
I was going to, I think it's actually iBooks that's the second largest global purveyor.
Oh, iBook, yes. I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, you probably meant to say iBooks. They're
no, I meant to say Kobo, but I had it wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. No, Kobo is the
your
second largest overseas. My apologies.
Yeah, your point's well taken. Kobo has always had a global focus and a great opportunity to reach readers in countries that you can't reach through Amazon.
Yes, and that's important to a lot of us. All right, now it looks like we're coming to the end of our questions, and we've taken up a lot of Mark's very valuable time. Mark, is there anything you're going to be played and replayed a gazillion times on our site and some other sites where we're going to be posting this interview? Are there any questions we haven't asked you that you get a lot that maybe you'd be willing to ask for us that we don't? What do we not know to ask you?
Well, one thing that we haven't talked about, and I'm sure you talk about this at length in your other webinars, but what can authors do to get out there and promote their ebooks to libraries? So it's a topic I've been thinking about lately. I think I'm going to be writing an article on it for Publishers Weekly. And
that's what we teach here, actually. Yes,
yeah.
The students who are listening to you right now have signed up for our class, and we actually cover in detail to pay attention to what the librarian's needs are, to not focus when reaching out to a library or to a retailer, but to focus instead of how great our book is, to focus on what the library needs, how to identify their needs, what those needs are, and then how to approach a librarian with those needs in the forefront. Our opening cover letters that we coach these listeners and these students, our cover letter barely mentions the book. Actually, it mainly talks about our promotion. It talks about how we're going to be driving traffic. It talks about our marketing efforts, a little bit about the book and the category and the like, but and how to portray the book and how important visuals are. What a one-page PDF sales sheet, how that can benefit. But it's all about driving demand. It's not about getting your book into the library. That's only the first third of our job. Our main job is getting the book out of the library. Once you get it onto the shelves or into the databases, if it's an ebook, how are you going to get it checked out? And that's what we spend a lot of time focusing on, because that's what librarians care about. They want their turn rates and their checkout rates to go up. They want more foot traffic in their branches. And so I'm going to shut up and ask if you have what the advice is you give people.
Yeah, well, I would say that that's all really solid advice. So, I can probably add a couple more things for authors to consider, maybe a couple more opportunities. Obviously, first you need to get your book available so that it can be purchased by the acquisition managers at the libraries. So obviously Smashwords can help with that. I think it's a great idea to offer libraries a special price. It gives you something else to market and promote to them, and an opportunity for you to show your support for libraries. And here's another idea, and I don't see many authors doing this. On your own website and on your blog, we've always encouraged authors and publishers to provide direct hyperlinks to all the different retailers that are carrying your books. But it would also be great for authors and publishers on their websites and blogs and in their marketing to mention which library platforms are carrying their books, because their websites are being visited by librarians and by patrons of libraries. So let your fan base know that your books are available at libraries and that you support libraries. I think that's a lot of low-hanging fruit there.
Yes, I hadn't even thought of that. That's great advice.
Yeah, because authors and publishers control access to their audience, and you have the ability to mobilize your audience to go to the library and check out your book at the library if that's their preferred method of book consumption. So I imagine you talk about the importance of authors visiting their local libraries, because local libraries typically want to collect books from local authors.
We do. We talk a lot about
yeah.
starting local and growing from there.
Yeah, that's great. Do you talk about encouraging authors to use the libraries as platforms for events? So doing book readings, seminars, even book launches?
Yep, and workshops.
Okay.
Yeah, guys.
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So you're giving lots of great advice there. Yeah, those are some of the highlights that I would give. And I guess the other thing is, in your regular communications with your readers, with your fans, invite your street team to go to their local library and recommend your book. I think there's a big untapped opportunity there, especially, some of our best-selling indie authors have got tens of thousands of fans out there who would love to recommend their books to their local libraries if only the author suggested that to their fans. So that's another opportunity, I think.
It is. Guys, I want to remind you that if you go to segment 17 in the Real Fast Library Marketing, you will find a form that you can download. It's in Word, and it's a sheet that you can cut and paste your title and ISBN and information into. And Mark, what we do is we tell them to give these sheets to their friends, email them as a PDF, and so that their friends can take the sheets into the libraries with the name of the book, the ISBN. They can actually make a request with the information right there in their hands that the librarian most needs to place an order.
Great. That's a smart idea.
Yeah. Oh, guys, do you have any other questions for Mark? Again, he's been so generous with his time, but we don't want to keep him. Mark, if somebody is curious about Smashwords and would like to sign up for Smashwords, your website clearly is the easiest place to go, but I do want to just put a little commercial out there for you guys. All the information about Smashwords is so easy to find if you go to their website. But if someone has a question, for instance, we had a number of people very confused about how to set pricing, and no matter how clear your website is, they were confused as to what format to upload the books. Also because things have changed. Smashwords 5 years ago was a very different animal than it is now. So I would like to recommend that you not assume you understand how Smashwords works. Go to their website. Check out the new information. But is there an interface there, Mark, if someone has a question on your website? Is there a chat box or a place they can email if they have a question that they just don't seem to be able to find the answer to on your website?
Yes, definitely. So at the top of every Smashwords page, there's a little question mark icon. You can click that, and that opens up a form and allows you to contact our support team directly. And when you contact us over that form, it also attaches all of your account information, so our team is able to look directly into your account and fix whatever issues or answer whatever questions you have. So yeah, definitely contact us over that form if you have any questions. And you mentioned that we have a detailed FAQ. You'll see links to that on the Smashwords homepage. When you sign up for an account, the email that we send you, the confirmation email, also contains a a step-by-step checklist of what the process is. But by all means, don't hesitate to contact us if you have any questions, if you run into any stumbling blocks. We've got a team of support professionals here in California waiting to answer your questions.
Oh. Mark, on behalf of everyone who's listening, and Daniel Hall, who I know he's actually on your site right now showing people where these question marks, the question mark is, But Daniel and we would so like to thank you for your time today. These questions are going to be enormously helpful to our students and to everyone else who listens to this interview. Thank you so much for your time. Daniel, do you have anything to add before we let Mark get back to his very busy day?
Just to say thank you as well. And I was just thinking as I was listening to this this interview how great this would be to actually just run as a podcast. And I think I'm going to do that if that's all right with you, Mark.
That sounds great. Thanks, Daniel.
All right, thank you. And with that, thank you, Amy, once again. As always, a wonderful job. And again, we give you the exact steps. We give you the resources. We bring if we can't figure out the answers to your questions, we bring in folks like Mark Coker. And but in the final analysis, it's up to you to pick up on this information and actually implement it. And I'm going to encourage you once again to go ahead and do that. So with that, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Amy. And thanks to everyone listening. Goodbye now.
Thanks, everyone.
Goodbye.